Resting my head against the window, swaying with the rhythm of the train, I just gaze out at the scenery as the buildings turn into greenery. Today is the day I moved to an unfamiliar rural town. I'm a 35-year-old office worker, employed in research. I work at a pharmaceutical company, part of the development research department. Our department is moving to a branch in the countryside, so all of us are being transferred. That's why I'm moving to the countryside. Born and raised in the city, this is my first time living in the countryside. Far from being excited, I'm weighed down by the thought of the inconveniences to come, being so used to the conveniences of city life. With these feelings, I arrived in this town. Now, several months later, I'm finally getting used to commuting to the new lab. As expected, this is a rural town with nothing much around, but the huge lab here is more convenient than the small one at our city headquarters. Still, life here is inconvenient. No convenience store nearby for a quick snack, and if I run out of household items, it's a 30-minute drive to the nearest supermarket. I'm certainly feeling a bit weary of this lifestyle. And lately, this fatigue isn't just physical but mental as well. The reason isn't just this rural town, but something else. It's the recent change in our department head, Tyson. "Hey, John, you're staying late today." "Again today. Can't be helped. I'm tied up with entertaining clients. There's a report I need to submit to headquarters by tomorrow. You get it, right? But that report needs your review before sending, right? Just leave it. Entertaining clients is more important." "Entertaining? You've just been bar hopping with locals lately. Did you say something? Huh? Don't you know what could happen to you in this town if you defy me?" "Yes." Since the boss's oversight has diminished, Tyson has become quite tyrannical since moving here. Back at headquarters, he was unremarkable, quiet, not particularly capable, but harmless. Does a change of environment bring out a person's true nature? Unreasonable scolding, nonsensical instructions. Yet, all of us, my colleagues, juniors, even my seniors, had no choice but to silently comply. Sigh, tired again today. Walking down a large, solitary road, I stopped by a small, privately owned store before heading home. There are fields on both sides, and the smell of earth wafts with every breeze. With no convenience store nearby for a late-night snack, visiting this shop has become part of my daily routine after work. "Well, hello, welcome, John." A slightly older woman greets me with a smile. "Hard at work again today. You really put in the effort, don't you?" she says as she hands me a bag, and I always make sure to thank her before taking it. "Thank you." "Come again soon." Cicadas buzzed, and a breeze rustled through. The sun had tilted further since earlier, beginning to darken the sky. It's a good 30-minute walk home, so I opened one of the beers I just bought. When opening the can, it made a satisfying sound. Then I sighed and took a gulp. "Ah, that's good." Lately, I've been thinking a lot. I enjoy my daily research, but I wonder if it's worth coming to such a remote rural area for it. Tyson spends his days bar hopping with locals and often comes in hungover, useless at work. While covering for Tyson and enduring his unreasonable anger, I spend my days solely focused on research. On my days off, I just laze around, fiddling with my phone, not going anywhere. In this lonely rural town, without a girlfriend or friends, there's too little to do alone. Is this really how my life should be? At 35, such concerns have risen. The next day, feeling well rested for the first time in a while, I woke up refreshed and grabbed my phone. What? That moment, I took my breath away. It was already 10 a.m. Oh no, I overslept. Panic set in, and I quickly called the lab, where my colleague Richard answered. "Hello, it's John. Sorry, I overslept. Is Tyson there?" "Hey, good morning." Nah, Tyson's not coming today. Sounds like he's hungover. Got it, sorry, I'm on my way now. Just leave my work. Nah, it's cool. Why don't you take the day off? What? You've been looking down lately. Probably tired. Take a break today. I've got your work covered. Taking my colleague's advice, I decided to skip work for the day. When was the last time skipped work? But what to do now? I was not even sleepy anymore. As I opened the curtains, thinking this, the sunlit mountains came into view. Huh? The mountains. Suddenly inspired, I quickly packed a towel and water in my backpack and set out for a hike. This is the first time I'm doing something like this since I came here. The air tastes good. Breathing deeply into greenery feels incredibly refreshing. I felt as if my constant complaints and gloominess were being replaced by the clean air. With a youthful spirit, I continued walking, aiming to go as far as I could. Rustling grass. Crunching soil. Amid these sounds, whoosh, I heard something like a fall. What was that? Rushing towards the sound, I found a woman in a tattered state, huddled on the ground. Wow! My shout echoed in response to the scene. Are you okay? Are you alive? Can you get up? I kept calling out desperately. Responding to my voice, the woman slowly opened her eyes. Oh, you're awake. When the woman noticed me, she seemed flustered and whispered in a weak voice, I'm okay. The woman forcefully sat up, said, in a soft voice, and held her ankle with her hand. Does your ankle hurt? Just a moment, please. I took out a first aid kit from my backpack and got out some ointment and bandages. I'll do some first aid. I applied the ointment to her ankle, used a nearby twig as a splint, and wrapped it with the bandage. There, that should do for now. Thank you so much. I was surprised when I heard a noise and then saw you sliding down from above and curled up here. I slipped on the path up there and, before I knew it, I had slid down here. That was close. She kept thanking me over and over, grateful I happened to pass by. Thank you so much. My name is Maria. I'm John. If you don't mind, I can take you to the hospital. I couldn't possibly ask you to do that. I can walk by myself. Ouch. See, you're still in pain. You can't walk like that. Don't force yourself. And don't mind if I smell a bit sweaty. As I said this and squatted down to let her climb on my back, Maria hesitantly got on. I can't believe you're doing all this for me. I'm so sorry. No worries. Carrying her on my back, supporting the backpack with my stomach, we slowly descended the mountain, chatting about various things. Maria had also moved from the city, and today she had taken a day off before starting a new job to visit this mountain. We especially hit it off talking about the differences between city and rural life. Eventually, our conversation shifted to more personal topics. Do you work at that big research lab? Yes, I do. She looked surprised. I moved here after our department transferred from the headquarters. Is that so? After thinking for a bit, she asked me another question. How is your job? Well, I've gotten used to the new workplace, but actually, my boss, his personality has changed lately, and it's been tough. Haha. I ended up telling Maria about how my boss had changed since moving here. How he started acting superior as if he was the top dog, looking down on his subordinates, not doing any work, and using company money to go bar hopping with locals under the guise of business entertainment. It had been a while since I talked to someone outside of work, so I accidentally shared more than I intended. Maria listened quietly and said, "That sounds tough." Feeling I had overshared, I quickly added, "I've been feeling down lately, but coming to the mountain today made me feel refreshed. It's like I can now focus on working together with everyone. Thank you for listening." After our talk, I carried her down the mountain in silence and took her to a small hospital at the foot of the mountain. She assured me she could take a taxi home, so I left. I thought waiting might scare her. By the time I realized, it was already evening. It had been a while since I felt this uplifted in the evening. Thinking of Maria's smile made me feel refreshed on my way home. In the following weeks, life continued as usual, with my work, looking after my juniors, and covering for Tyson. I was getting used to life here, and the warmth of the small rural community grew on me. The kindness in a rural town is something you don't often find in the city. Then, one day, I got a sudden call from headquarters. Had they found out I skipped work to go hiking? Feeling anxious about possibly being fired, I headed to the city. Seeing the towering skyscrapers after a long time made my heart flutter. When I lived there, I never noticed, but the air felt like it was mixed with various things, making my nose feel stuffed. With my heartbeat racing in fear, I calmed myself as I visited the CEO's office at the headquarters. "Excuse me." As I entered, the CEO greeted me with a smile. "Hey, long time no see, John. Have you lost some weight?" Seeing the CEO as usual confused me. I had been expecting to be fired, so it felt like unexpected. The CEO engaged in some small talk for a while, and I went along with it. The main topic didn't seem to come up. What was this meeting about, after all? Just as I was wondering, there was a knock on the door. "Come in." The CEO responded, and the door swung open energetically. To my surprise, the woman who entered was Maria, the one who had injured her foot on the mountain. "Wait, aren't you the person from that time? Why are you here?" Surprised, I stared at her as she blushed and shyly said, "I'm sorry about the other day." The CEO, addressing Maria, urged her, "Come here." While I stood there with a puzzled look, Maria cleared her throat just like the CEO and began to speak. "Thank you for helping me that day. My injury has completely healed, thanks to you. I apologize for the late introduction, but I'm Maria, the CEO's daughter." "CEO's daughter? Why were you in that town?" "So, you hadn't heard. That confirms what I said was true." "That's right." Lost in their conversation, I struggled to follow. "Tyson is no good anymore. There's no information sharing at all." "Indeed. Excuse me." Unable to hold back, I interrupted, and Maria smiled at me. "Actually, I was supposed to join the development research department in that town, but I injured my foot and had to return home for recovery. I had told Tyson to convey this to everyone, including you, but it seems no one was informed." "Jess, I heard nothing about it. I brought up the need for reform to the CEO right after hearing about the department's situation from you." "That's what I wanted to hear from you," the CEO added. "Is that so? But why me?" "Because your attitude towards work is admirable." "Really? What you shared while carrying me mirrored what my mother used to say." The CEO nodded at Maria's words. "Cherish unity, as you said. It's similar to my late wife's philosophy. She passed away 25 years ago from an illness. It was the first time I felt like my heart was torn out. Since then, I've immersed myself in work. Maybe to recover. I've been working to reduce the number of families experiencing what my daughter and I went through, increasing lives saved by medicine. So, our company's foundation is built on my wife's words. Cherish unity. The people waiting for our medicine are not strangers. They share our fate." "I see. Which brings me to this. I want you to take over as head of the development research department." Hearing this, I felt a shock as if struck by lightning. "Me? I'm honored, but why?" I was so flustered that I repeated the same question, then embarrassedly shut my mouth. "The development research department is the heart of our company. I want someone who sees helping people as natural and shares my vision to lead it." The CEO smiled warmly, a soft expression I felt I was seeing for the first time. I felt a surge of energy welling up inside me and simply bowed my head. "I'll help too. Let's work together." "See you later then. We'll take care of the formal procedures another day." As I was about to leave the room, saying thank you in response to the CEO's words. I heard a clearing of the throat. And as a father, thank you for helping my daughter. I'm truly grateful. Things will get busy, but when you have time, I'd like to properly thank you. The CEO bowed slowly. Don't do that. Please raise your head. I only did what anyone would do as a person. Upon hearing my words, the CEO slowly raised his head, looked into my eyes, and said thank you again. I bowed to the CEO and left his office with Maria. Well, I never imagined it would turn out like this. I just gazed out at the view of the buildings turning into greenery. I was reminded of the day I moved. But unlike that day, Maria was now beside me, and I had an important mission of reform ahead. It's going to be busy, but at least it's goodbye to those days of aimlessly following a superior. I felt a passion surging inside me, warming me up. It's been a while since I've felt this way, perhaps since I was a new employee. I want to help people. That's why I chose this job and this company, drawn by the CEO's character. I had always wondered if it was the right choice, but now I realize it's not about validating that choice, but about making it right. I'll continue to devote myself to research for others. The future surely looks bright. Squinting at the dazzling sunset for a moment, the rural town came into view. I'm looking forward to the future. Upon hearing Maria's words, I slowly nodded in agreement.